Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. In my last tutorial, I showed you guys how to make this beautiful pendant here using materials from Potomac's Beads Best Bead Box XL. It was September's box. I got my box in late, and so I'm late to do a tutorial on it. And usually I just do one tutorial, but I came up with a chain stitch using quadralentils to bezel this cabochon here, and I liked it so much that I wanted to see if I can use that same chain stitch that I came up with, the quadralentils, on a different shape of stone to bezel it. And so I had these PC Teardrops that I love so much. They are gorgeous in September's box, and so I decided to bezel them too. Now I didn't have enough quadralentils from the box, so I went into my storage and I found that I had some teal colored quadralentils. I think they're actually called Persian turquoise, something like that. But anyways, I had enough to bezel these two PC Teardrops, and I love how they turned out. They are so pretty. I'll show you a close-up. They are super gorgeous. Now, because of how the stone is on the top, because it's faceted, I found that I could not do this same stitch here that I did in this pendant with the 8 seed beads, so I had to use just 11 O's. So I had to change it up a little bit, and I did the outside edge differently because it was an earring. I wanted to add teardrops, and I didn't use the iris dews. So I'm going to show you how to do the same stitch again that I did in this one, okay, the base stitch, and then we're going to put the stone in, close at the top, and decorate the outer edge. Now the base stitch, the chain stitch, is the same for both of these. It's just the top that's different and the outer edge. So basically I'm just showing you guys how to do this chain stitch so you can bezel your own cabochons and stones. Now I went into my box and I found that I got in a previous subscription this topaz colored PC Teardrop, so I will be doing this one with you guys, and I will also be using the other beads that I got in the subscription box. So I'm very excited for this tutorial. If you have any, this is a 25mm cap, by the way, and I will link this tutorial down there below so you can go and watch it, and I recommend that you do watch both this pendant and the earrings if you want to bezel a cabochon or some kind of stone in your stash. And if you have the quadrantal beads, try this. It's very easy, and you can, once you get the base stitch down and you have your stone bezeled, you can do whatever you want for the outside. It's a lot of fun. So I'm very excited to show you guys. Let's get started. Here's the list of materials you will need to make these beautiful earrings, and I'm going to show you again close up what they look like. They are just stunning, and here's the back. Alright, so of course you can't get September's box anymore, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to list all the materials here that I'm using down there below in the description bar, so you can get the same thing to make your earrings. In case you don't have a cabochon or a stone to bezel, you can just go straight to Potomac down there with my links and get the same things that I'm using. So you're going to need to cut 4.5 feet of 8-pound fireline, and you're going to want to do a color that matches your beads, or one you won't see in your beads. I'm doing crystal. And you're also going to need a size 10 beading needle, and you're going to need, if you want to make these same earrings, you will need this stone here. This is a PC Peardrop. It's an 18 by 25mm. It's very sparkly, really gorgeous. And you're also going to need 11 quadralentil beads. This is the coolest bead. It has 4 holes. There are lentils that have 1 hole and 2 holes, but these here have 4, and they are 6mm. You will also need 11 4mm Czech fire polish beads, 5 6 by 8mm teardrop beads. Now these didn't come in the box. I had to add these because they matched my topaz stone here, and I just think that they look really good with it. The teardrops are optional. You don't have to have them down here. You can use any bead alternative that you want that fits in this hole, that still makes the design lay flat. If you use something that's too big, it will warp on you. That means it's too big. If you use something too small, then you'll see thread. So I think that you could get away with using seed beads here if you want. Maybe the 8-0 would work there, because I did 8-0 up here. So you could probably put 8-0s in place of that there. Or even 6-0s. It's up to you. You have different options. You will also need 8-0 seed beads. I'm using Miyuki. and 11 seed beads. I'm doing 2 different colors. Now, I am using actually Czech Preciosa in this matte purple and Miyuki bronze. So you can use Czech in place of Miyuki. And I'm also using 15 seed beads. So the only thing that came from my stash was this seed bead color here, and this one, and that one there, okay? And you're also going to need a bail, which I totally forgot to get, and I'm probably going to do a split ring or a jump ring for my bail, because I don't have any bails that match the beads that I'm using in this pendant. So again, this is the list of materials, and remember, I will put links to everything you will need to make these down there in the description bar, and you can wear this as a pendant or earrings, but I gave you the list, the bead counts, as to make just one, because I think that most of you would want to have this as a pendant instead of earrings, because these are large. But if you're into big earrings, then you would just double all the materials here that I gave you, and you have yourself a pair of earrings. So let's get started. I just went through my stuff to look for a bail, and I know I didn't have one. I was just going to get a jump ring or a split ring, but then I found this. This is a chandelier finding, and it's meant to be used this way. You have like a chain going from there to there, beads, whatever. But I had another one that I used this way for a necklace, so I think I'm going to do the same thing. Since I don't have a fancy bail, you can do the same thing. That's why I'm telling you this. You can attach your pendant to this here, and I'm probably going to do that with a jump ring, or I might make a beaded link, put it here, and then connect that to a jump ring and then to my pendant. And I'm thinking, instead of doing just chain going around the back side, I might do beads that match this, because I think I have this color here in Czech fire polish beads, and I think I might have some more Montana blue that are bigger that I could do as beaded links and then do chain. I don't know, just an idea I wanted to share with you guys in case you're like me, you didn't have a fancy bail. You can just do a chandelier finding as the, you know, the part that you connect your pendant to, because this piece to me is very fancy, and to do just a jump ring or a split ring, it seems kind of plain, so I wanted to do something that looks really good. Alright, so we're going to start by doing that chain stitch again that I showed you guys when we did the cabochon pendant. I'm going to pick up a 4mm Czech fire polish bead, a lintel, 2 seed beads, and a lintel. Just like this. Slide all the beads down. We're going to leave a 6-inch tail, so I just like to go like this and hold it right here at the 6-inch mark. Pass back through all of these beads again, just like this. Okay, and then I scoot this down to my finger. Okay, and then I'm going to go through the Czech fire polish bead, and then through the quadralentil, the same hole that I went through before, just like that. Okay, and then I have to go through this hole right here, the one next to it. Okay, and pull that tight. So we didn't have to tie any knots there because we passed through a few times. It's kind of like a stopper bead, really, doing that. And that's good, because we're going to be beading so much passing through that we don't want to get stopped by a needle or a knot, and we can't get through because our needle's stuck in a knot. Okay, now I'm going to pick up, I have to straighten my tailor. I'm going to pick up, looking at this, I see that I'm coming out on this side. I see that I have to pick up a 4mm, a quadralentil, and 2 seed beads. Just like that. And then I'm going to go back through this lintel, the same hole that I'm coming out of. Okay. Just like this. I'm going to go through this 4mm, and then through this lintel, the same hole that I went through earlier. I'm going to pull all my tail through, and then I'm going to go down the next hole like this. Okay, so we want 2 open holes on the top side, and then go like this and pull that tail. You can hold it like this from on the lintels and then pull your tail tight like that. There's our chain working up. Again, I'm exiting on this side. That means I need another 4mm, a lintel, and 2 seed beads. Like this, I'm going to go through that same hole there that I'm Xing out of, and then turn it and go through this 4mm, go through the lintel, pull all the tail through. Okay, and I'm going to go through the next hole there in the lintel on the bottom so that we have 2 open holes there on the top. Pull this through, pull it tight, like that. Again, pick up another 4, and then a lintel, 2 seed beads, through the lintel, going through the same hole that we're coming out of, and then turn, go through the 4, through the lintel, same hole, again, pull that through, and then go down through the next hole, like that, and stop and pull it tight. So this is pretty much it. I'm just going to keep going doing the same thing. I'm going to do it one more time with you guys. Coming out on this side, I could tell that I have to pick up another 4mm because I'm only doing those on one side and then seed beads on the other side. So one of those, a lintel, and then 2 seed beads, going through this lintel, the same hole we're coming out of. Okay. Pass through the 4mm, through the lintel, the same hole that we're going through there, pull all that through, and then sew down through the next hole so that you have 2 open holes there on the top of your lintel. And then stop and pull this tight. Okay, just like that. I'm going to keep going until I run out of lintels, and I will come back and show you how to close this up. Okay, so here I am. As you can see, I used all of my lintels. I'm exiting out that last hole there on the bottom of my lintel. There's the views from all around. You can see I have the 2 open holes in the top of each lintel. Now I have to close this up. So I'm going to pick up my last Czech fire polish bead, and I'm going to go through this hole right here on this side, okay, because this side here has all seed beads. So I'm on the bottom there, as you can see. Pass through. This is what I have. See that? Now I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads. I'm going to go through this quadralentil again. Okay, back through the 4mm, back down this quadralentil, pull it tight, and if you look, I have a thread looping over the top of each quadralentil. These kind of look like buttons to me. See that thread there? But this one here doesn't have that thread. So going down through here is going to tighten this up, because I do have some exposed thread there. So going down through there, pulling that tight, there we go. Now I'm going to stitch through this bead here, which is the same bead we're Xing out of. Okay, and I'll just pull both threads tight, and then I have to go back into my seed bead area, so I'm going to go through this hole, and then through these 2 seed beads, like this. Okay, now I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads at a time and pass through 2. We're going to be closing this up. Pick up 2, go through 2. Repeat this over and over, all the way around until you close it up. So just keep going, picking up 2 at a time and going through the next 2. Okay, so here I am. I have my last 2 seed beads, going through these 2 here. Pull this tight. Okay. The stone will sit inside these, so you want to turn the seed beads inward. And I need to reposition my needle, so I'm going to go through this quadralentil right there. Okay, and then I'm going to step up and go through a top hole and pull my tail tight. Now I know that this is the amount I need of quadralentils for my teardrop, so I'm showing you just like that. Push it in. You could see how it fits. It looks great. But if you're doing a different stone, you would, I should have showed you, before you put the seed beads in between each 2, you would just wrap that little chain stitch around here. Okay, it will be a little looser. It shrinks, of course, but that's how you would figure out how many lentils you would need to bezel any other stone. Okay, so now that I have this, we're going to put seed beads on the top. So on my other pendant, I already put it back in a bag, so I like to keep it sealed, but I did an 8/0, a bronze seed bead, and 8/0. But this one, because it's faceted and the edges are in more than a round domed cabochon, I had to do smaller beads. So I'm going to do all 11/0s, and the colors I like to do is purple, bronze, and purple. You can do all of one color if you want in this. You don't have to do 2 colors. But I really like things detailed, so that's why I'm doing it. And then you're going to go through that next quadralentil there. Okay. And then on the outside of the quadralentil, you have to pick up 3 15/0 seed beads like this and go through the same lentil but the opposite hole like that. And then a purple, bronze, purple, 3 11s again, down through the next hole. And I was thinking that, you know, I'm making earrings and a pendant out of this, but you could probably also do a ring with this bezel. So there's 3 15s again and up through the next lentil. But of course you're going to want a stone to be smaller. The stones I'm using are quite large for a ring. Just like that. A purple, a bronze, and a purple. But you can adjust your seed bead counts and the sizes of your seed beads to the thickness of your cab or stone, is what I'm really trying to tell you. So I find that you could just do this with so many different ones. Okay, and then 3 15s right here. And then 3 11s from one lentil to the next, and then 3 15s again, and just pull it snug every time you pass through. 3 11s through the next lentil. Make sure you go through the top hole every time. When I first designed these, I was looking from this direction, straight above. I went through the hole, and then later on when I went back around to close it up, I turned it sideways, and I went diagonal. So from this hole to the bottom hole. It's a total accident. I could not see it, so I have to turn it at different angles to make sure I'm going through it the right way. So no matter how long you've beaded for, you will always have mistakes. But it's good because I can warn you guys and tell you what could happen so you don't do the same thing. So I'm going to keep going all the way around doing this top, and I will show you what to do next. Okay, here I am on my last lentil. I have to pick up 3 15s. Just like this, going through this lentil, through the purple seed bead there, and straight into my skin. And then go through this middle bronze bead here, this seed bead. Okay, pull it tight and lay it down. Okay, now I'm going to put my stone in. I zoomed in so you can see better. This part right here is very important. You have to put the stone in correctly at an area where your thread's coming out at the right spot, because if you don't, when you go all the way around, you close up the top and then you go to decorate, the very last beads you add in, well, they won't go right. So you have to do it exactly like this. I tried it multiple times and it didn't work out, and I realized what was going on. So I'm going to put my stone in right now, okay? And you want to put your stone in at an angle like this, the point down first, so like this, and you want to have 2 lintels right here, 1, 2, okay, like this, and you'll feel the stone, it snaps in, it really does. So this point on the pear stone, it's called a pear, but I really see it as a teardrop. Anyways, it goes in right here under those seed beads. I'm going to zoom in more. Okay, so see how it's tucked in under those 3 seed beads? And then I have these 2 lintels right here, just like that. So this is how you want it to look. You want your thread to be coming out right here. And then when we go all the way around, we put in our last 3 seed beads, will be right here, okay, at the start. So I'm going to go ahead, zoom back out because I'm a little too close. I think right here is a little bit more. Right there, okay. I'm going to leave this down on my mat. You don't want to pick it up. You want to pick up 3 11-0 seed beads, and you want to go through the 11s. And what I like to do, these 11-0 seed beads, these bronze ones, they like to go down, and it's hard for me to get through them, so I have a little needle here to push them up with into place for me, so that it's easier for me to pass through them, because they just sink on down. So I just go around and I stand all of these beads up so they're pointed, really, because they're just sunken in. Okay, like this. I take 3 seed beads coming out of this 11, I go in through the next one. Just like that. You can turn this if you want, pass through like that. You don't want to pull this really tight, just snugly, because you'll rip it off the table and then you'll break your stone. So I picked up 3 seed beads again. I'm going through this one right here. Okay, 3 11s again, through the next one right here. And be careful that you don't pass your needle through this bead and wrap your needle around the thread that's already there, because it will cause your bezel to warp. I hope this makes sense, but I've always noticed this happening. It's like you're tying a knot inside of the bead. You're not doing it on purpose, but it kind of happens, and you'll wonder why later on. Why does it look like that? And it's because your needle got twisted around that thread. So just go through that bead there, trying to avoid wrapping around the thread that's inside. And I'm going to do this all the way around. 3 seed beads at a time, going through this 11-0, pull it snug, and I will stop here because I want to make sure you could see what I'm doing. See that? My camera's a little blurry there for a minute. Okay, so I'm just going from bronze seed bead to bronze seed bead, picking up 3 11s at a time. 3 again, through the next bead. If you just make sure that you stand this 11-0 up, you shouldn't have problems with your needle wrapping around the thread that's inside there. Okay, here I am at the start I have to go through this bronze seed bead here. Okay, but while I'm at it, I'm also going to go through this purple one and through the quadralentil if I can. Let's see. Okay, I did it. Now I'm not going to reinforce the top here, and you're probably thinking I'm crazy, but later on I have to find a place to tie up my knots, and I found that this here is really the best place to do it because it's like a straight line of beads, and down here it's going to be all zigzaggy. And I will probably be tying knots with my other thread down there. Okay, so I'm going to go, I'm coming at the quadralentil, I'm going to go through this 15-0 right here and through the next one. So I'm going through 2. I just caught that tail thread. Okay. And then I'm going to pick up one 11-0 and go through this 4 right here. So we are connecting the 15s to the 4mm like this. Pull this tight. Make sure that you can't see your thread up here. Got fingerprints all over my stone. That's what it looks like so far. I'm going to pick up one seed bead at a time, go through this 15 right here. So doing this is pulling those 15s down. Now this part here you could skip if you want to do a different design for your outer edge, but I did try skipping this and just go from this bead to this bead just by putting a bead in there. And I had a hard time with that. It was not laying flat, it was warping on me. So I started doing this. I started going out of the 4mm, pick up a 15 or 11, and through the 15, pick up another 11, and through the 4, doing this all the way around, and I found this to be perfect for me. And I use the 11s that I'm putting in now to decorate on. So that's why I'm doing it like this, but you could try, if you want to, a different way. And if you do this as a ring, after you put these 11-0s in, that's where I would stop at and put a ring band on this. Okay, and then another 11 here, and I'm just going to go all the way around, oops, filling in these little gaps, connecting the 15s to the 4mm. Okay, so here I am putting in my last bronze seed bead. I'm going to go through this 15 and then down through the first 15 that I added. So right here is the point that I would stop if I were to make this into a ring. It is pretty big for a ring though, so you would want to do a smaller stone. Just the distance from here and here is super wide. I don't think this stone would work as a ring unless you had really, really big fingers. But you would have to weave around to like over here to add your ring band on, because you would want to do your ring band like right here, straight across itself, like that. Okay. Alright, so we are now in position to decorate the outer edge. So now I'm going to pick up two 15s, an 11, an 8, an 11, and two 15s. Just like that. Coming out of this bronze seed bead, I'm going to go in through this bronze and in through the next. I'm skipping over the 15. Okay, so I'm going to turn it this way. And see how these beads go around that 4mm? That's how you want it to look. Okay, again, two 15s, 11, 8, 11, two 15s. Like this, and through the next two 11s. Like that. And again, two 15s, 11, 8, 11, two 15s. Through this 11 and through the next. Skipping over that 15, you always want to skip over that bead. Okay, and just like this. Again, I'm going to do this all the way around. 2 15s, 11, 8, 11, and 2 15s. Through the next 2 11s. Pull it tight, and this is what I have so far. So one more time, 2 15s, 11, 8, 11, and 2 15s. Skipping over that 15 there, you just want to go through these 2 11s, like that. And keep on going all the way around, and I will show you what to do next. Okay, here I am. I've gone all the way around, exiting out right here. I have to go back through these 2 bronze seed beads, just like this. And there we go. We have another row complete. This is what it looks like. Alright, now I'm going to take my needle, exiting out the bronze seed bead. I'm going to go through these 2 15-ohs and through that bronze 11. And we're going to pick up 3 11-ohs. Go down through the bronze and through 1 15, just like that. Pick up 1 8-oh. Skip over these beads right here and go up through this 15 and through the bronze. We're going to do our little seed bead bail here. Now, the amount of beads you will pick up will vary depending on if you're going to do a lever back earring finding or any other earring finding or a jump ring for a pendant. Now whenever I do earrings, I always have a gap in between, so I do an even amount of seed beads. So I have 3 seed beads. My earring finding, I picked that up, and then 3 seed beads. But when I do a pendant, because a jump ring, a bail, a slit ring, because it has a bigger hole, I want that seed bead to go inside of the hole of my bail. I hope this makes sense to you. So I have to pick up my 2 seed beads that are basically this part right here. Okay, so slide those down. And then I might do 5 or 7. Let's do 5 first and see. Because this is going to be a pendant. I want to see what it would look like. It's pretty small. I think that I will do 7. Let's do 7. I do an odd amount when I do. Okay, I'm going to pass back through this seed bead here, the second one that I added. Hold this between my fingers so that it makes a little circle. Okay, and then take my needle. Let's see, I'm going to tighten this up. It's going to be like this. I think that's good. Okay, so I picked up 1 seed bead and I'm going to sew down this bronze and then through this yellow 15-oh, like this. Okay, so now I have this. So I can put a jump ring or split ring in there. And I might do something fancy. I could maybe do something fancy like that, which kind of makes me wish that I did bronze seed beads there. 1 bronze there, 4, you know what I'm saying? So I could do something like that. But I'm going to continue on with a stitch. I'm not going to reinforce this just yet because I have to come back down this way again. So that will be the last thing that I do, is reinforce that. So now I'm in this open area again with the yellow 15s. So I have to put another 8-oh. So picking up 1 8, go through the next 15 here and through the 11. Okay, like that, and then 3 11s, down through this 11 and through this 15. That's my top so far. See how it looks empty here? I fill this in later on. That's why I want to go back later and do that. And then an 8. Through the 15 and the 11. 3 more 11s. Through this 11 and through the 15. And let's see, am I to the spot yet where I add... Let's see. This is center. Almost. Okay, I'm going to do another 8 and go through the next 15. Do 3 11s through the 11 there and that 15. Okay, now I think we're in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teardrops. Alright. I love these colors together. I never do colors like this. It's new for me. So I'm going to pick up a teardrop, or you could, like I said earlier, you have alternatives. You don't have to do teardrops if you don't have them. You can do something else. So picking up a teardrop, I'm going to go through the same beads again. I have to go into, I can't do anything without my fingernails. Some people are better off with short nails, not me. It's bad, it's bad. I can open soda with long nails, a can of soda, but I can't with short nails. Okay, that's what I have right now. I'm going to do 3 11s again. The bead's hopping away like a little jumping bean. And then I'm going to go through those 2 like that. So I'm just replacing the 8-O's that I used up here with teardrops. And then I'm going to do another teardrop. And then through another 15 and an 11. Three 11s. Through this 11 and through the 15. Pull that snug. My middle teardrop, this is really coming together for us. And then through this 15 and through that 11. 3 11s through this 11 and through that 15 right there. And then teardrop, almost did 8 OC bead. Teardrop. And I think that this teardrop I'm using, in case you're wondering, I think it's also called topaz. Just like that, party. So pretty. It's an unusual color combo for me, but I'm loving it. Because sometimes I feel like I do the same color combinations over and over. And then I have my seed beads there again, and then, no, not 8-O yet. Good grief. Teardrop, last one. From here to there. Okay, pull that tight. And then 3 11s, and then I'm back to my 8-O's again. Now in that pendant I wanted to do teardrops in that one first. And then I just, for some reason, I ended up not doing it. I guess I forgot about it. But then when I got to these, I'm like, whoa, I have to do teardrops in these. So if you want, you could do teardrops in a round cabochon. It's totally up to you. There's 3 going in through right here. Pick up an 8. Through this 15 and this 11, and I have to go this direction because I have to fill this in. It just looks too bare to me. So I'm going to go through this 8 and through that 11, through this 15, and through this 8. Okay, pick up 2 11-ohs. And by the way, I'm doing a jump ring, that's why I didn't pick up a split ring earlier. Go through this 11 here. Okay, just like that. See how that filled in? So bare, which looks weird to me, and then filled in. It just seems like it's going with flow now. Now I can do a fancy bail here by skipping some seed beads, or I could just do it like this, which all I do is I just go around all 8, yeah, all 8 of them. But I think I might do a fancy bail here. Let's see, I'm gonna go through this one. I think I can fit a jump ring in there. It will be a little snug, but I think I can. So I'm gonna go through this seed bead here. Okay, and I have to skip the one there on the side. I'm gonna skip that one. Come on. Just like this. This thread, you want to push this over. Like that. Okay, it makes that bead pop out. Skip that seed bead there. Pass down. Oh no, my needle came off. Skip this seed bead right here. Go through the next. You want this thread to go down below that bead. Sometimes if you put your needle in that and then pull your thread, there we go. Okay, did it there. And then I'm gonna skip over this one, go through this one, oh boy, it's so tiny. It would have been a lot easier to just go through all 8 of them, but I thought I would do something different. But if you want, you can just go through all 8 of them, reinforcing them. You don't have to do this fancy looking bail here like I'm doing, okay? And then I don't have a thread going through here, do I? So I have to make a thread there. I have to skip over that bead. Okay, which means I'm going like that again. Okay, so now it's complete all the way around, but I'm stuck going this direction and I have to go down this way, so I have to reinforce this again. So I'm gonna do that, and I might fast forward because it's really hard to see. Because it's so far away from me. Okay, so I'm now going through those 2 purple ones right there. I reinforced it. I'm picking up my very last 2 seed beads and I'm going through the 8. Just like that. So there we go. We are all done with our beading, and I just want to see, this is a thick gauge. Will that pass through? It's way too thick. Yeah, that goes through, and that's about the gauge of the jump rings that I have. So it should work. So I stopped and put my jump ring through this because I thought it was pretty tight, and it is. It's kind of tight, but I'm gonna let it slide because, you know, I gotta finish filming this video, and I think it looks good. It's just a little snug there, but if, like I said, if you want, you can just go through all 8 of them, which is what I normally do, but I decided to do something different. Anyways, now I have to tie knots, but I have to reposition my needle, and I'm right here, so I want to go up this way. I have to go this way. I have to follow my old thread path. I want to get back up in here, reinforce this, tie my knots up there. It's going to be easier to tie my knots up there. So I'm going to pass through these 2 beads here. Just follow my old thread path to get me back to the top. Don't make up any new thread paths where there aren't any. Can I go through all those? Let me see. Oh my gosh, look how many I just got through. Look at that. That's a lot of beads right there. Okay, and then I have to go through the quadralentil, and then through this 11 I hope I'm in frame, and then up through this one. I'll go through like a few here. Oh, come on. I don't want to tie my knot where my first 11 started, at that point where I picked up, you know, from point to point adding 3 beads. I don't want to tie a knot there. I like to tie knots in the 3 beads that I added. So I'm going to go and tie knots, pull that snug, just like this, go underneath that thread, make a loop, pass through it twice, get the thread to sit right where we need it to be, right here, and bring that knot down and go through 3 beads. I want to get, like I said, past that point there and tie another knot. Now I'm going to go all the way around here, reinforcing, tying as many knots as I can. I'm going to try to reinforce the entire thing, and then I'll go back down into the work, and then I'll trim my thread. And then this one over here, now I did find it too hard to tie knots in here because the area is recessed. So what I like to do, I'm coming out of this Czech fire polish bead, is I put my needle on this thread, I go through the bronze, and then through the next bronze, and then go through these 2 11s here, through that bronze, and then I tie my knots in this area, zigzagging back and forth. Or, actually no, what I could do, when I come out through this bronze, go into the 8, I can tie a knot right before the 8, hide my knot in the 8, then go through that 11, the bronze 11, the 15, and then tie a knot before here. Yeah, so I would be tying knots in front of the 8 seed beads and in front of the teardrops, going around as far as I can, reinforcing it. So that's it. So hope that you had a good time making this project, and remember, I will have links to all the materials that I use down there below in the description bar. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. Make sure that you click the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos, and check me out on my social media sites. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Thanks for watching.